Okay, alright, so in this video, we're going to talk about a little bit of NHL and some of the top players that are going on in the league right now. First of all, we're going to talk about Claude Giroux and what he's done for the Philadelphia Flyers organization. And then, we're talking about Sidney Crosby, and then maybe a little bit of Ovechkin, and then the goalie problems with the Flyers. Right now, Claude Giroux leads the NHL in points with 46. Well, he's tied for the NHL lead in points with 46, along with Vancouver's own Henrik Sedin. But then again, Henrik Sedin is always among the top point getters. But right now, Claude Giroux is he's just filling every expectation that has been asked from him. He started off in 07-08 with the Flyers. He was drafted in 06 in the first round, second overall. He's got 4 years of experience under his belt. In 07-08, he only played 2 games for the club, and he played most of his time in the AHL. In 08-09 is when he got his real taste for the NHL, when he played 42 games, and in that span he had 27 points. He had 9 goals and 18 assists, which is good for a rookie at the time. In 09 and 2010 was when he really stepped on the scene. He played all 82 games for the Flyers. He had 16 goals and 31 assists, which equals 47 points. And then in 2010-2011, he really started to solidify himself as a all-star player. He played all 82 games, 25 goals, 51 assists, 76 points. And this year, he's off to another great start with 18 goals and 28 assists. Claude Giroux, we can say, is the future of the Philadelphia Flyers. Many have also said JVR is also the future of the franchise once they traded away Captain Mike Richards and leading goal scorer Jeff Carter. They pretty much handed the team off to Claude Giroux and JVR, along with the veteran leaderships of Danny Briere and Chris Pronger. But then Chris Pronger went down with post-concussion syndrome, so he's out for the season. Maybe the playoffs, but we can't look that far ahead. And here's a question that a buddy of mine brought up to me a few days ago. Now, if Sidney Crosby was to retire, would he make the Hall of Fame? And a question that is a great question, I feel. And honestly, I think that he would. Because he has done more for the Penguins organization in the short time that he had. And he's just doing amazing things, or he did amazing things for the Penguins organization. Now, yes, it's a tragedy that he went down with concussion, but that is hockey, I guess. And of course, the hockey organization they're trying their best. Brandon Shanahan, I feel, is doing a great job in doing as best as he can to keep concussions under control. And Crosby was drafted number 1 overall in 2005, and he's only had 1 season where he had less than 30 goals. In 07-08, he only had 24 goals, but he's had all the rest of he only had 2 seasons where he didn't have 100 plus points. And that was 07-08 when he only had 72 points, and in 2010-2011 when he only had 66 points. But that was because he only played 41 games, and he only played 53 games in 07-08. But then again, you just look at his stats. In his first season, he had 39 goals, 63 assists. Season after that, 36 goals, 84 assists. In 2010 was his best year when he had 51 goals and 58 assists. I know this season he only played 8 games, but he has 12 points in 8 games. And to me, I honestly think that he will, if he was to retire, he probably would make the Hall of Fame. Just because he's Sidney Crosby, just because he's a big name guy. And he did more for the Penguins organization. He won a cup. He was the youngest captain to win a cup. And on top of that, he won a gold medal for Canada. I mean, you know, it's nothing really to do with the NHL, but he still won a gold medal and he still won a cup. And people say, oh, well, look at Jarome Iginla. Look what he's done for Calgary. And be like, no, he hasn't done much for Calgary. He's just an all-star player that plays for a bad team. You're talking about who your second-best player is, and your second-best player is a goalie, in Mika Kiprusoff. So the Flames aren't a star team in Calgary. It's just Jarome Iginla is a star player in Calgary. So that's why. I mean, that's one of the reasons why Crosby would make the Hall of Fame if he was to retire this year. And now on Alex Ovechkin's standpoint, you know, he was supposed to be the chosen one. Him and Crosby have been the two best players over the past several years. Same thing, 2004, first overall. You know, Ovechkin has a lot more goals than Crosby does. But he has more points. So I don't know, but Crosby is the best player in the world. Ovechkin's getting off to a really slow start this season, but over the past couple games, I think in the past 3 or 4 games, Ovechkin's got 5 goals. So he's been playing really, really good lately. Like in Ovechkin's first season, 05-06, he had 52 goals, 54 assists. 07-08, he had 65 goals. Last season, he had 32 goals. So Ovechkin is filling in right now the powerhouse of being the best player in the league. He only has 33 points, though. So Claude Giroux clearly got the ups over him right now. And right now I want to talk about the goalie issues that's going on in Philly, which is really depressing because I'm a Flyers fan. So I mean, it's just Brizgalov really needs to step up to the plate and be the man and the goalie that he needs to be. And honestly, with a personality type player that he is, I honestly think it didn't help having the HBO cameras around and being practically the star of that TV show with his ridiculous quotes and his comics and antics and everything like that. And it's just I honestly think that Briz will now be able to get in the zone after being sat for the Winter Classic, and the cameras are gone. I honestly think that Brizgalov will be able to step in and be the goalie, the number one goalie that Paul Holmgren paid him $51 million to be. So it's time for Brizgalov to step up to the plate and just be that goalie. Bob has been playing good lately. When he needs to be, when he's coming in and filling in the spot for Briz. He played well in the Winter Classic. Didn't get the W, but he still played well. But now I think it's time for Briz to step up, look himself in the mirror, and say, you got to be the goalie that you need to be. And, yep, that's my talk for the NHL right now. And thanks for watching.